Hi friends, welcome back. Guys, in this video, I am going to share my personal strategy which has helped me to score more than 100 marks in General Studies paper 3 of the UPSC Mains examination. Guys, my name is Santosh Pandey. I have cracked the UPSC Mains examination 4 times and I have scored very high marks in General Studies paper. In this video, I will restrict myself to an excellent strategy which has helped me score very high marks in General Studies paper 3 consistently. You can see some of my scorecard. I have scored 114 in General Studies paper 3, and today in this video I am going to show you why most of the students who are writing the mains examination these days are struggling to score very high marks in General Studies paper 3. What is the main reason and how my strategy can help you to overcome this problem and score the highest marks in the next mains examination. Guys, I am very sure that whoever uses my strategy will definitely score the highest marks in the next year mains examination. Guys, 3 things which has helped me score very high marks in the UPSC General Studies paper. These 3 things are, guys, facts. First and foremost, facts. You need to have very important fact, very relevant fact for each and every answer. I am going to demonstrate this with the answer. Guys, most of the UPSC aspirants who are not able to score very high marks in the UPSC mains examination, particularly in General Studies paper 3, is because they are not able to substantiate their argument with facts. I am going to prove you with this example. So these are the UPSC PYQs. Let us read one of the PYQs, guys. The nature of economic growth in India in recent times is described as jobless growth. Do you agree with the view? Give arguments in your favor. So now, guys, in this question, if you cannot substantiate with facts that the nature of economic growth in the last 30 years after the 1991 economic reforms has been jobless growth, which means you have to give data regarding employment. Let me show you, guys. I have created mains factly sheet on each and every topic of the UPSC mains examination. Each and every topic of the General Studies paper 3 I have created factly sheets. You can see this in these factly sheets. According to one of the report by RBI, we can see here the decade between 1980 and 1990, every 1 percentage point of economic growth generated roughly 2 lakh new jobs in the formal sector. That is, if India's GDP grew by 14% every year in 1980s, it can be said it created roughly 28 lakh new formal jobs. In the subsequent decade, between 1990 to 2000, every 1 percentage points of the GDP yielded roughly 1 lakh new jobs only. You can see here. This fact of RBI report clearly says that the number of jobs which were created for 1% of the GDP has become half. You can see 2 lakh new jobs were created and now only 1 lakh new job is created. Okay, this clearly shows what? The economic growth which we have had in the last 30 years is what? Is a jobless growth. Guys, there is a concept called employment elasticity. There is a concept called employment elasticity. You have to give here the fact that employment elasticity has decreased. Employment elasticity in the 1980s was 0.7 and, guys, in 2020s it is 0.1. You can see here employment elasticity of the growth. What is the employment elasticity of growth? For 1% economic growth, what is the job creation? What is the job creation? You can see employment elasticity of economic growth has decreased. So, guys, if you do not write these facts, guys, this question you are not going to get any marks. The problem is most of the students, what they will do, they will fill this entire answer with jobless growth and a lot of content, but they will not substantiate their answer because the question clearly says, do you agree that last 30 years economic growth has been a jobless economic growth? How will you substantiate this? With facts. If you do not have these facts, you can never substantiate your argument. You will never get marks. The problem is that we are not able to write these facts. If you have written this mains examination, how many of you wrote these facts? That for the percentage growth in GDP, what was the creation of job? If you don't show this, that this has been falling in the last 30 years, how will you show that there has been a jobless growth? Because here you say that give argument in your favor. You have to give arguments in your favor. Without facts, how will you give argument that there is a jobless growth? That economy is growing, GDP is growing, but because the employment elasticity has been declining, there is no job creation or there is less job creation. Okay. Second thing, the economic growth which we have had in the last 30 years is what? Capital intensive growth. Capital intensive growth. Okay, so you must have heard that the growth which we have had is a capital intensive growth. How can you show that there is a capital intensive growth? Guys, recently only IMF report has come. According to IMF report, the share of labor in the total profitability of firms has declined in the last 30 years. Means, if suppose the company was making 100 rupee profit in 1990s, then the share of the labor was suppose 30 rupees, but now the same company is making 100 rupees, but the share of the labor is now only 20 rupees. This means what? That the labor component of the growth is declining and the capital component of the growth is increasing. This is the fact. Without this fact, you can't just say that there is a capital intensive growth. You have to substantiate, guys. That is the main problem. Most of the aspirants are not able to do that. And that is why they are complaining. I'm writing very good answers. I'm not getting high scores. You can only get high scores if you incorporate this mains factly. For every topic of the syllabus, guys, I have prepared this mains factly. You can get this mains factly. You can see, guys, there is a telegram number. You can contact me if you want these mains factly. Every topic you will get a mains factly which can really help you enhance the quality of your answers. Because without substantiation, no marks. Let me show you another question, guys. Among several factors of India's potential economic growth, savings is the most important one. Do you agree? Again, how will you show that savings is the most important one? You have to show what is the savings rate. Without showing the savings rate, how will you show that out of all the factors of the economic growth, savings rate is the most important factor? You have to show how the savings rate has changed in the 1990s, then in the 2000s, then in the 2010, then in the 2020. Let me show you some facts that the savings rate was very high in the early 2000s. Between 2003 to 2008, the savings rates was very high. You know, in the last 5 years, in the last 5 to 6 years, why is our economy struggling? Our economy is struggling because savings rates have fallen down. Savings rates have fallen down, and guys, you all know that it is the savings rate which fuels the investment rate. What is the GDP? Okay, guys, let me just show you what is the GDP. GDP is what? It is investment by ICOR, incremental capital output ratio. And from where will the investment come? Investment will come from domestic savings only. We can't rely on FDI. FDI has been falling. If you see, in the last 10 years, FDI has been falling. In the last 2-3 years, FDI has been falling. We are not able to attract very high FDIs. So savings rates are very important. Without savings rates, you will not get investment. And you have to write facts that investment rate and savings rate was very high in 2005, 2006, 2007. It was around 32, 33, 34%. And now it has fallen to around 28%. Without these facts, how will you substantiate this answer? Again, you see another question. What are the causes for persistent high food inflation in India? Guys, how can you answer this question without facts that the CPI inflation has been hovering around 7 to 8% in the last 3 years, particularly after the COVID. After the COVID, the CPI has been very high. Without facts, how will you show that there is a persistent high food inflation? And the food component of the CPI, what is the food component of the CPI? You have to show it. Guys, out of the CPI, the consumer price index, what is the food component? Food component is more than 45%. And that is why if we have to tackle the CPI, we have to tackle the food inflation. But the problem is the RBI, you see, comment on the effectiveness of the policy of RBI. I'll come to this to show you how to write this answer. But right now I am emphasizing on facts. Without facts, if you write all this answer, you can see this question. What are the salient features of inclusive growth? Has India experienced such a growth? Has India experienced such an economic growth? This means in the last 30 years, the question is asking, has India experienced inclusive growth? How will you write this answer without facts? You have to write facts that for inclusive growth, you have to say what happened to the poverty in the last 30 years. What happened to employment in the last 30 years? You see, here only we have shown that the jobless growth is happening. This means what? It is not an inclusive growth. Just now, without facts, how will you say that it is not an inclusive growth? So you have to give facts for each and every aspect of the inclusive growth. Guys, you know, I'll come to this. What are the features of inclusive growth? What are the features of inclusive growth in the next video, in the next slide? Okay, my point is, without telling that what happened to poverty, what happened to inequality, what happened to employment, without giving facts, how can you say that last 30 years is an inclusive growth or is not an inclusive growth? You need facts that poverty has declined. You need facts that unemployment problem has increased. You need facts inequality has increased. The inequality report, the world inequality report, you can give facts that 1% of India has so much wealth. So without facts, how can you say that inclusive growth is happening or not happening? Just you say that yes, inclusive growth is happening, inequality is rising. You have to substantiate, sir. Without substantiation, you are not going to get marks. That is the main problem. Why people are not getting marks in the General Studies paper 3. They are just writing general statements. They are not substantiating with facts. And how can you substantiate facts? By using mains factly. Guys, each and every topic of the main syllabus, we have a mains factly. You can use this mains factly. This is a Telegram channel which you can contact. Now let me come to the second point, which is flow diagrams. Guys, without flow diagrams, you can't expect very high marks in General Studies paper 3. Flow diagrams are very, very much important. It will save your time also. Guys, you know, one reason I was able to score 114 in General Studies paper 3 was why? Because I incorporated a lot of flow diagrams. Today I am going to show you with one example. Let me just show you with one example. So guys, you can see this question. What are the salient features of inclusive growth? Has India experienced such a process? Analyze and suggest measures for inclusive growth. You can see the diagram. Okay, what are the salient features of inclusive growth? You can see here inclusive growth, employment generation, poverty reduction, agriculture development, reduction of disparity, gender empowerment, equity, good governance, and environment sustainability. Okay, so this is what are the components of inclusive growth. Then what is inclusive growth? Inclusive growth is a growth which has two components. One is participation in the growth process. Everyone participates in the growth process and everyone shares the benefit of the growth process. Then only it will be called inclusive growth. In this question, if you draw these two diagrams, the marks which you will be getting will be very high. And after that, what you have to do? Okay, question is saying, has India experienced inclusive growth? So you have to give facts for each and every component. For example, gender empowerment. Give fact. Gender gap report. What is India's rank? Has India's rank increased? Has India's rank decreased? Then guys, environment sustainability. What is India's rank in environment pollution index? How much India is making effort in order to tackle the climate change, in order to tackle the poverty, pollution. Okay, poverty reduction. What is the MPI, Global Multidimensional Poverty Index? What is India's number of people, percentage of people who are in poor? So without facts for each and every component of inclusive growth, how can you say that India is having inclusive growth or not? So diagrams is a must. So how you can show this answer, guys? What you can do is that, okay, first you draw these two diagrams. Okay, first you can draw this diagram. This entire question can be written in diagram format. How? So you can draw these two diagrams, and then what you can do is, you can make a table here. And for every component, you can write here components of inclusive growth, okay, or features of inclusive growth. And here you can give facts. First you take employment and you give facts here. Second you take here agriculture, give facts here. Then poverty, give facts here. There you can show that is India experiencing inclusive growth? What happened to employment? What happened to agriculture? What happened to this? This is how you innovate answers. Guys, all this I am teaching in my daily answer writing class. Every day 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. 1 hour I am conducting answer writing class. I am going to teach you all these templates. These templates can do wonders for you. Are you able to see this entire answer? I am able to write only by diagrams, only by flow charts. You can see I draw this flow chart, I draw this flow chart, and I draw this table. For every component I give fact and I prove that inclusive growth, yes or no. Okay guys, and last thing is interlinkages. What is the last strategy? Last strategy is what, guys? Interlinkages. This is very important. Interlinkages. If you are not doing interlinkages, guys, let me tell you, you are missing 2 to 3 marks in every questions. Interlinkages between various concepts. In General Studies paper 3, all the components are interlinked. Let me show you one example. Let me show you one example with diagram. So guys, the third is the interlinkages. Okay. Let me show you again with a UPSC PYQ. Faster economic growth requires increased share in manufacturing sector in GDP, particularly MSME. Comment on the present policies of MSME in this regard. So here what do you have to do? You have to connect manufacturing sector, MSE sector, with the inclusive growth. With the inclusive growth. Okay. So MSME. Okay, you can write manufacturing or MSME. Okay, what is MSME? What are the features? Job intensive. MSME is job intensive. MSME is generally, you see, ownership is marginalized segments of society. MSME is generally, the people who are working in MSMEs are generally women. Okay, and last is MSME is generally in the rural and urban areas. And then you link all this with inclusive growth. You can link all this with inclusive growth. So guys, India can only grow in a faster economic growth. India can only grow in a faster inclusive growth when we are focusing on MSMEs. Why MSMEs? Because MSMEs are job intensive. MSMEs are marginalized segments ownership. MSMEs are women workers, mostly women workers. So guys, if more and more women participate in the economy, obviously in the economy will grow. Gender dividend. Okay, you can link to gender dividend. Okay, so you can see how we are linking. Okay, linking the concepts of inclusive growth and MSME, linking the concept of inclusive growth and MSME on manufacturing. So here you can link lot of things. You can link lot of things. Okay, let me just show you. Next question, I'm giving you what will be the next question. So next question they can give you what? They can give you, okay, agriculture and inclusive growth. They can give you agriculture and inclusive growth. Okay, like this. They can link to various concepts and they can ask you exports and inclusive growth. Exports and inclusive growth. Okay, like this. They can link a lot of segments and linkage of the topic. So guys, one is inclusive growth, one concept, other is MSME manufacturing, another concept. Try to link between them. Try to link between them. Or inclusive growth is one segment. Then guys, in your syllabus there is environmental pollution, sustainability, climate change. Try to link climate change with inclusive growth. If you start doing this, if you start interlinking the topics, then guys, no one can stop you from scoring very high marks in General Studies paper 3. You can also score like me more than 100 marks in General Studies paper 3. Incorporate 3 things. Incorporate 3 things. What are these 3 things? Facts. Substantiate with your every argument with facts. Facts are a must. How to get facts? Get the mains factly. Second, diagrams. Guys, I am making diagrams, flow charts for each and every topic of the syllabus. You can get all these diagrams from me in the YouTube. I will be sharing many of the diagrams as a sample. Third is guys, interlinkages. In the YouTube again I am making a lot of videos about interlinking. Guys, you can learn all this in my answer writing, daily answer writing class. Every day for 300 days I am going to teach you answer writing in my 10 p.m. session. Guys, every day I am discussing 5 to 7 questions. Every day I am discussing 5 to 7 questions. You can see 5 to 7 questions. So in 1 year, 300 days, I am going to teach you around 2000 answers. 2000 answers. I am going to discuss and I am going to explain how to write answers. 2000 answers. Imagine if you prepare 2000 answers, no one can stop you from topping the civil services examination. Every day I am going to give you a lot of facts. Every day I'm giving you a lot of examples, lot of case studies to improve your answer, lot of diagrams. If you improve, guys, every day, if you improve 1% in a year, you can make a tremendous increase in your performance. Guys, every year a lot of questions are coming from the DPS. This year also, in every paper, okay, every paper we have a lot of questions coming from the DPS. You can check my YouTube channel and you can check my Telegram channel. I've given you the proof how many questions have come from the DPS initiative. Guys, every day 5 to 7 answers I am discussing. No course in India has this kind of component. Every day 5 to 7. Just imagine, in 1 year you will be writing 2000 answers. What will happen if you write 2000 answers? You can just imagine. Guys, if you like this strategy, please do like this video, share your comments and share this with everyone who is struggling in General Studies Paper 3. God bless you guys and happy Diwali.